Good morning, students. Welcome to this online teaching platform of Divine Public School, Mohanapur, Gorakhpur. I welcome you all. Dear student, today I am going to explain you a chapter from your textbook Vistas, subject English core of class 12. The name of the chapter is The Third Level, written by Jack Finney. Dear student, this is the part 1 of this chapter. Now, before I start the explanation of the chapter, let me tell you or give you a short description about the author, Jack Finney. Walter Braden Jack Finney, real name John Finney, was born on 2nd October 1911 and died on 14th November 1995, was an American author. His best known works are science fiction and thrillers, including The Body Snatchers and Time and Again. The former was the basis for the 1956 film Invasion of the Body Snatchers and its remakes. Now, coming to the introduction of the lesson, the third level introduction. The third level by Jack Finney is about the harsh realities about war. That means the third level by Jack Finney is about the harsh realities of war. War has irreversible consequences, thus leaving people in a state of insecurity. It is also about modern day problems and how common man tends to escape reality by various means. In this story, a man named Charlie hallucinates and reaches the third level of the Grand Central Station, which only has two levels. That means, dear students, the third level is a story that weaves together a psychological journey of the narrator into past, present, and moves towards future. There is always a natural human tendency to constantly move between the past, the present, and the future. Past, present, and future are strategically and organically interconnected. When people in the present time want to escape the problems and stress of life, they feel that life 50 or 60 years ago was relaxed and they wanted to go back to that time for peace and happiness. Now, let me tell you the main characters of the story before I start the explanation. There are three main characters in this story. The first one is Charlie, the protagonist of the story. Second one is Lusa. Lusa is Charlie's wife. And the last one is the Sam, Charlie's psychiatrist friend. Now let me tell you the character sketch of these main characters. The first one is Charlie, who is the protagonist of the story. Charlie is a true representative of modern man. He is a victim of stress, insecurity, and fear, and wants to run away from reality. He is an escapist and wants to escape from the world of harsh realities. He is fond of stamp collection, a hobby which he takes up to make his leisure hours more productive and fulfilling experience. But his psychiatrist friend calls it a temporary refuge from reality. The second character of the story is Lusa. Lusa is Charlie's wife. She is loving and caring towards her husband. However, she is a simple lady and it is not difficult to take her in. She refuses to accept the psychiatrist's observation that her husband is unhappy. She takes this comment as a personal attack and feels kind of mad. On being told the modern world is full of insecurity, fear, etc., she feels satisfied with the psychiatrist's explanation. And the last one is Sam. Sam, Charlie's psychiatrist friend. Sam is a psychiatrist by profession. He is a typical city boy. When Charlie shares his visiting the third level, he tells him it is a waking dream wish fulfillment. He tells him that he is looking for ways to escape since he is not happy. But he immediately revises his statement that Charlie is a victim of insecurities of modern life. He dubs the argument of narrator's hobby of stamp collection as a temporary refuge from reality. He does not believe in mixing up his profession with his friendship. Is it clear, students? Now, coming to the explanation part of this story. First of all, I will read the paragraph for you all. The presidents of the New York Central and the New York New Haven, and Hartford railroads were swear on the stack of timetables that there are only two. But I say there are three because I have been on the third level of the Grand Central Station. Yes, I have taken the obvious step. I talked to a psychiatric friend of mine, among others. I told him about the third level at Grand Central Station, and he said it was a waking dream wish fulfillment. He said I was unhappy. That made my wife kind of mad. But he explained that he meant the modern world is full of insecurity, fear, war, worry, and all the rest of it, and that I just want to escape. Well, who doesn't? Everybody I know wants to escape, but that do not wander down in to any third level at Grand Central Station. Now, students, as you can see, I have highlighted the difficult words in this paragraph. Let's have a look at the meaning of these difficult words. The first one is railroads, which means a track or set of tracks made of steel rails. Second one is swear, which means make a promise undertaking. Third difficult word is stack, a pile of objects. Then comes the timetables, which means a chart showing the departure and arrival of trains. Fifth one is obvious, which means easily understood. Sixth difficult word is psychiatric, which means relating of mental illness or its treatment. Waking means the state of being awake. Fulfillment means the achievement of something desired. And the last one is wander, which means walk or move in an aimless way. Now see the first line. I am going to explain the chapter for you all. I want you to be very attentive and listen it very carefully. The story begins with the mention of a third level at the Grand Central Station, which only has two levels in real. The protagonist himself is aware that even the presidents of New York Central and the New York, New Haven, and Hartford railroads would express great confidence in the existence of only two levels, but he himself has been to the third level. Considering the entire scenario, Charlie, the protagonist, had a word with his psychiatrist friend. He explained that Charlie, here the Sam, who is the psychiatric friend of Charlie, is explaining the readers. He explained that Charlie was experiencing a waking dream wish fulfillment, or in other words, we can say hallucination. Hallucination means an experience involving the apparent perception of something which is not present. So, according to the psychiatrist, Charlie was unhappy, the fact her wife did not like. Upon explaining further, it became clear that it is the burden of all the modern problems that is pushing him to experience the apparent perception of something not present. He tends to escape the reality. Charlie agreed with what his psychiatrist friend had to say, but he still found it a bit odd to have been to the third level of the Grand Central Station. Is it clear, students? But that is the reason, he said, and my friends all agreed. Everything points to it, they claimed. My stamp collecting, for example, that is a temporary refuge from reality as well, maybe, but my grandfather didn't need any refuge from reality. Things were pretty nice and things in his day, from all I hear, and started my collection. It's a nice collection too. Blocks of four of practically every US issue, first day covers, and so on. President Roosevelt collected stamps too, you know. Anyway, here is what happened at Grand Central. One night last summer, I worked late at the office. I was in a hurry to get uptown to my apartment. So I decided to take the subway from Grand Central because it's faster than the bus. Now look at the difficult words. The first one is claimed, which means state that something is the case, typically without providing evidence or proof. The second one is refuge, which means the state of being safe from danger. The third difficult word here is first day cover, which means an envelope bearing a stamp or set of stamps postmarked. Then comes the apartment, which means a flat. And the last difficult word is subway, which means a tunnel under a road for use by pedestrians. Now, coming to the explanation part, Charlie begins to believe in the possibility that he has been experiencing all this to escape the harsh realities of the modern world, as we have a lot of problems. His friends agreed to it as well. Even his stamp collecting is a sort of asylum he resorts to in order to feel protected. On the other hand, he starts thinking otherwise. His grandfather started his stamp collection, but in those days, they had not seen the consequences of war and there was peace, harmony, and security. His grandfather must have not been insecure. The collection, moreover, was amazing, with blocks of four of practically every US issue. Even President Roosevelt collected stamps. He starts explaining what exactly happened and begins with how he chose to take the subway to his apartment instead of the usual bus after a late night shift. He did this in order to save time. Now I don't know why this should have happened to me. I am just an ordinary guy named Charlie, 31 years old, and I was wearing a tan gabardine suit and a straw hat with a fancy band. I passed a dozen men who looked just like me, and I wasn't trying to escape from anything. I just wanted to get home to Lusa, my wife. I turned into Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue and went down the steps to the first level, where you can take trains like the 20th century. Then I walked down another flight to the second level, where the suburban trains leave from, dug into an arched door, heading for the subway and got lost. That is easy to do. I have been in and out of Grand Central hundreds of times, but I am always bumping into a new doorways and stairs and corridors. Once I got into tunnel about a mile long and came out in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. Another time I came up in an office building on the 46th Street, 3 blocks away. Now look at the difficult word, students. The first one is gabardine, which means a smooth, durable, twill woven worsted or cotton cloth. The second difficult word is straw, which means a dried stalks of grain used as fodder. Then comes the bumping. Bumping means knock or run into someone or something with a jolt. The last difficult word is corridors, a long passage in a building from which doors leads into rooms. Now coming to the explanation part. He describes himself as an ordinary man of 31. That means Charlie describes himself as an ordinary man of 31 years old, dressed in a tan gabardine suit and a straw hat with a fancy band. It was so ordinary that he could see other similar men at the station. He explains how he was in his normal state of mind, not wanting to escape from anywhere. All he wanted was to be with his wife Lusa at that hour. He still doesn't. I understand why this happened with him. Charlie comes to the part of the incident where he entered the Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue and took the stairs to the first level where one boarded trains like the 20th century. Then he went down another floor to reach the second level from where the suburban trains leave. From there, he entered an arched doorway and got lost. It was nothing unusual for him because even if he had come to that station 1,000 times, there were occasions he bumped into new corridors and doorways. Once he entered the wrong lobby and reached Roosevelt Hotel, and another time in an office building which was 3 blocks away. Sometimes I think Grand Central is growing like a tree, pushing out new corridors and staircases like roots. There is probably a long tunnel that nobody knows about feeling its way under the city right now, on its way to Times Square, and maybe another to Central Park, and maybe because for so many people through the years, Grand Central has been an exit, a way of escape. Maybe that is how the tunnel I got into. But I never told my psychiatric friend about that idea. The corridor I was in began angling left and slanting downwards, and I thought that was down. But I kept on walking. All I could hear was the empty sound of my own footsteps, and I didn't pass a soul. Then I heard that sort of hollow roar ahead that means open space and people talking. The tunnel turned sharp left. I went down a short flight of stairs and came out on the third level at Grand Central Station. For just a moment, I thought I was back on the second level, but I saw the room was smaller. There were fewer ticket windows and train gates, and the information booth in the center was wood and old looking. And the man in the booth for a green eye shades and long black sleeve protectors. The light were dim and sort of flickering. Then I saw why they were open flame gas lights. Now see the highlighted word, students, for the meaning. The first one is tunnel, an artificial underground passage, psychiatric, relating to mental illness or its treatment. Slanting means positioned in a sloping. Roar means a full, deep, prolonged cry. Eye shades here means a translucent visor used to protect the eyes. And the last word is flickering, which means burning or shining unsteadily. Now see the first line for the explanation. Now Charlie wondered that Grand Central was expanding at a very fast rate, just like a tree with its roots. He It is not no big deal that they even have a secret tunnel under the city to the Times Square or maybe the Central Park. He feels it might be because Grand Central is a place of exit for innumerable people. He also managed to escape reality because of the same reason, although he never shared it with his psychiatrist friend. The unusual corridor he had entered into began angling left and slanting downward, which he felt odd about, but nevertheless he kept on walking. There was no one except him, and the voice of his feet echoed. He finally heard the sound of people talking from a distance. Then he took a left and walked down the stairs again, only to reach the third level of the Grand Central. He thought he had somehow made his way back to the second level, but as he noticed, the room was smaller. There were fewer tickets windows and train gates, and the information booth in the center was made of wood and old looking. The man in the booth was also different, and the station was dim lit, for there were open flame gas lights. I hope, students, you have understood this chapter. This is all about the imagination when you go from your present into the past or in future to get yourself relaxed. In many of the movies also we have seen people imagining themselves to be in a different world, like Fantosh in Hindi movie and Matrix Hollywood movie. If you have not seen this movie, I request you to see these movies so that you can understand this chapter well. Okay, students. Now, as this was the part 1, once again I will be back with the second video, that means the part 2 of this chapter. So it is to be continued in part 2. Thank you, students, for watching and listening this video.